I don't think anyone likes being put in a box, but that's what therapists like myself have been doing to parents like you for years. The way that I was taught to understand parenting styles means that you have to fit into one of these four boxes, which I'm not really a fan of. So I'm suggesting that we look at parenting in a slightly different way. This is actually the parenting style chart that I was taught in grad school, and probably one that you're familiar with too. It gives us these four types of parenting styles. It was created in the 1960s by Diana Baumrind and is like the gold standard of all things parenting. And I like it a lot, apart from only having four choices. Where do new parent styles like new age parenting or drone parenting or wabi sabi parenting, no, that is a thing, where do they fit if you've only got four options? If you break this structure down a little bit, the answers are actually in here. This was all based on the research of Earl Schaeffer in the 1950s. He identified that kids need three things from their parents in order to be happy, healthy adults. Parents need to be accepting and not rejecting. Parents need to have control of their kids' behavior. And parents need to give their kids the freedom to be themselves. Baumrind developed this a bit more, and she believed that accepting, not rejecting, was important, but she wanted to add something else: emotional warmth. It's all the yummy, loving, good feelings that parents give their kids. She called this scale responsiveness and combined acceptance with warmth, and it became the axis of the parent quadrant model we just saw. She also really liked control of behaviors, but she wanted to add expectations into the mix because some parents have very high expectations of their kids and others don't. So she tweaked control of behaviors to include expectations. She turned that into a spectrum, flipped it 90 degrees, and that made the second axis of the parenting quadrant. The only problem is autonomy is nowhere in the mix anymore, and it's so important. I think we can get a lot if we break down and then combine Baumrind and Schaeffer's work. And that's exactly what I did with these four dials of parenting. I think accepting versus rejecting from Schaeffer is great. That needs to be in there. I love that emotional warmth is in there, but I don't quite understand why it needs to be combined with acceptance. Control of behaviors is still there, and it includes expectations thanks to Baumrind. And let's put autonomy or control of autonomy back in the mix because it's vital. The bad news is that we don't get these cute little boxes anymore, but it does give us the freedom to be more flexible because there's an infinite number of combinations on these four dials or four spectrums that account for all parenting types across the world.
Sometimes these things are easier to understand with an example or two. So let's take a look at the tiger parent, who are, of course, notorious for being very tough, very controlling, and big on rules. So their control of behavior dials and control of autonomy dials are all the way up. There's a stereotype out there that all tiger parents are mean or cold and rejecting, and I do not know that to be true of all tiger parents. It's certainly not part of the educational philosophy. If you want to know your parenting style, take the quiz on mypeoplepatterns.com/parenting-teens. The jellyfish parent is in some ways the exact opposite of the tiger parent. They are go with the flow type parents. They are very loving, very warm, accepting type of people. They excel in the warm, loving, feelingsy part of parenting, but have a hard time setting limits, boundaries, and consequences. So control of behaviors is all the way down. And control of autonomy varies from family to family.
New parenting terms come out all the time, and now with these four dials, you've got a framework to understand them, or at least I do, but I'd love it if you used it too. Let me know if you found this helpful, and I'll keep talking about parenting stuff.